What is going on, guys? My name is Baron, or Developer B. Welcome back to episode 5 of the Bukkit coding tutorial series. In this episode today, I am going to be teaching us how to make an MOTD plugin using everything that we've learned so far in the past tutorials. So pretty much what this is going to be is whenever a player joins a server, it is going to send them a message, otherwise known as the message of the day. And pretty much what that is it's just a message that we're going to have specified inside of a configuration file. And if you don't know what a configuration file is, I'm going to show you later whenever we go ahead and get this set up, but I'm going to explain kind of what it is while I'm coding. So pretty much in general what it is it's a file where you store information. And why you would want to store this information is if you shut down your server and turn it back on, then you can pull information from this config and load it in through some simple methods. It's really easy and it saves past reloading and restarting your server, unlike, let's say you have int kills that wouldn't save over a restart or a stop and load again. But if you save it in a config, it will, and it's really useful, and it's probably one of the most used things in the Bukkit library. So let's go ahead and get into it. So how do we load this config into our plugin? Well, the simplest thing to do is go like this. So I'm going to do this. So just type get config.options.copy defaults true, and then save config. And pretty much what this is going to do is pretty much load the config and set up everything. So it's going to create a folder by our plugin name, which is MOTD, and it's going to create a folder called MOTD, and inside of that folder it's going to create a config file, which is going to be called Config.yml, and that's where our files are going to be stored. And our format is stored in the YAML format, and this format is pretty much just a way of typing out your things and laying them out in a proper order like this. And that's all you have to do, really. You just have to lay it out in this particular fashion, just like a plugin.yml, which uses the YAML format. So it's pretty much like this. It's really simple, and I will show you how to do that right now. So let's go ahead and create a command for setting our MOTD, and we are going to put this inside of a commands package, and we're going to call this MOTD command. There we go. And let's implement the command executor and implement the method. Now we have a slight problem with this. Can you guess it? Probably not. But what our problem is it's pretty much that we have to access the get config, but we can't because we don't have this class extending Java plugin. And we can't just do that because only one class can extend Java plugin, and it has to be the main class. So this class cannot extend Java plugin, and somehow we have to get config on here. And the only way to do that is to set up a way to get this class and put it in here so we can use it. And the best way to do that is just to go like this: MOTD plugin, and then public MOTD command. And we are going to take an MOTD plugin, this dot plugin equals plugin, and then we're going to say plugin.get command, and then let's go ahead and implement that. We're going to say get command set MOTD dot set executor this. And pretty much what this is actually going to do is we are making our own instance of this class in here, calling it plugin. Then we're making a basic constructor called MOTD command, and it's going to take MOTD plugin as an argument. So that means that we have to run this class inside of MOTD. So now we can just say new MOTD command like this and say this, and now we have access to this plugin right here. And now we can use this plugin inside of this method so we can get the get config. Pretty simple. So now that we have this, and we're also just going to register the command in this, since we already have the access to the plugin, and we would normally have to do it in the main class, but we can just do it here to save us typing. So we can automatically put it in here, which is really useful. And now all we have to type is this, and then it sets it up, and we can use the plugin and have access to get config, which is really, really good. Now, another thing is that we don't have to check if the sender is a player, because this command is going to be able to be ran by the console or the player. So it doesn't matter whether the player or the console runs it. So we're just going to ignore that first thing that we normally do, and we're just going to go right into checking the arguments. So we're going to say if args.length equals 0, then we are going to sender.sendMessage chatColor.red, and we're going to say please specify an MOTD, like that. And why we're saying this is we're saying if args.length equals 0, so you know what that means. That means that only the set.motd/set.motd was run, but there were no arguments past that. And we want there to be arguments because we're setting the MOTD to our particular arguments. And the way we're going to do this is a really unique way that we have not seen yet. So if we do /set.motd like this, MOTD, hi, welcome to the server. So there's our MOTD. And we can actually say welcome to the server, developer B, or whatever, a player name. And how are we going to do this? Well, we can't check if the arguments equals 7 or whatever this is, 6, because we need to actually check for an unlimited amount. So however many, we need to check how many the player puts in, not how many like it's going to have to be, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain that, but we're going to allow the player to enter an unlimited amount of arguments. So he can type A, and it'll save it all. So there isn't a limit. So we don't have to say args.length equals 6 or whatever. So his message has to be 6 arguments long. We're actually going to make it so the player can choose how many arguments it's going to be. And how we're going to do this is using a string builder. And a string builder pretty much allows you to build a string. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you just add strings onto the string builder, and then at the end you call it and you can make it a string. And now we can run a for loop. And this for loop is going to be structured like so. And what this does is it loops through all of the arguments. Yeah, it loops through all of the arguments. And this is run about how many arguments there are. So now we can say x.append args I plus space. And what this is going to do is add each argument, and it's going to split it at the space. So whenever we say hi space, then that's going to be the next argument, etc. It's going to keep going. So now let's go ahead and save this into the config. And how are we going to do this? Well, we can run the plugin that we have up there, .getConfig.set MOTD to x.toString.trim. And what this is going to do is whatever the player types in whatever message, so we say / set MOTD hi, hello, hey. And this is going to be saved into the MOTD. So it's going to be structured like this. If we go in here, it's going to be MOTD, hi, hello, hey. It's going to be like that. So if that doesn't make sense, it's really self-explanatory. Like if you can see, this is the value and this is the key. No, this is the key and this is the value. That's how it's kind of placed like. So now that we're setting MOTD to that, we can go ahead and save the config. And we have to save the config or else this is going to be erased. So we have to save it, and now it's saved. Now we can send the sender a message saying chat color, or actually, yeah, chat color dot green, and we're going to say you saved the MOTD. And then we're actually going to say chat color dot translate alternate color codes and sign and x.toString.trim. And pretty much what this does is it replaces the and then whatever the value is after. So like and 1. It's kind of like essentials, when you type and7 hello, it's gray, and then hello, it changes the chat color, so you can do that instead of using that weird symbol, and it pretty much allows us to make this colorful, this MOTD. So it's going to be different colors, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So now we have everything saved and everything set up. So I'm actually going to put a little comment right here explaining what the config is going to look like. It's going to be this, and then our value. So whatever we put. So it would be hey, hello, hi, if we typed the command /setMOTD, hey, hello, hi. That's how it would be saved there. Pretty basic stuff. And now we just have to utilize this and actually use it as a MOTD. So how we do that is we're going to make a listener. So type listeners.playerJoin. And I don't know why I keep messing that up every time I type it. So I'm just going to rename it to playerJoin. Oh my god. I'm a terrible typer. playerJoin. There we go. And we're going to have to implement listener like usual. And we have to do the same exact thing that we did in MOTD command. So just go ahead and copy this. It's going to be the same exact thing, except just rename it to playerJoin. Really basic. So there we go. Let's do this. And we also can register the listener in here. So let's go ahead and just type plugin, or actually we can just say bukkit.getPluginManager.register events, this and plugin. There we go. So now we can register that by just going into MOTD and typing new playerJoin this, and we are good to go. So let's go back in here and make an event handler, and we're gonna say this is an onJoin, a playerJoin event, join event e. And now we could say player equals e.getPlayer. So this is the player that's joining the server. And now we're going to send them a message. So send a message. And we're going to say chat color.translate alternate color codes like we did before, the and sign. And then get config. Plugin.getConfig. Plugin.getConfig.getString MOTD. And there we go. That's it. So now what this is pretty much doing is whenever we join the server, we're going to send the player joining a message with a chat color that translates this and sign and whatever values are after it. So this is the color sign, and we are pretty much going to change this into a colorful message with what we say. If there is no and sign, then we haven't specified any colors and it's just going to be white. But if this is specified and anything after that, it's going to be colorful. And I'll show you an example in game. So if you're confused about that, I'll show you what I mean. But that is actually it for the coding part of this. If we go into plugin.yml, I have this set up. Pretty much name MOTD. Then here is the main class, the version, and then command set MOTD sets the server's MOTD. Pretty basic stuff. And now we can actually go ahead and build this and test the server out. So let's go ahead and build it. And we are actually going to go into Minecraft. And actually we're going to join the server first. So there it is. And I don't know why this is still here. Maybe I was testing this out. So now we can go ahead and run the server like that. And wait for it. There we go. So MOTD, enabling MOTD. And as you can see, if we go back into plugins, it actually created a folder called MOTD. And if we go inside, we have our config.yml. It's empty, but we can write values to it. So let's go ahead and write a value first, actually. So let's go into our console, since we can send this command from both the console and in-game, and say set MOTD, not dry, set MOTD to and E, which is going to be green, and A is going to be green. And let's say welcome welcome to the server. Boom. And then it says you save the MOTD, and then I don't know why it says anything after that. But if we go in here, it didn't save it. So let's go ahead and look at this. Oh my god. This has to be a plus sign, not an equal sign. I don't know why I had that, but let's go ahead and redo that. So build it again and go back here, reload. And now let's say set MOTD and a welcome to the server. There. So now, as you can see, it's in green, welcome to the server. And if we go in here, it actually has our MOTD here saying welcome to the server. And if we join the server on Minecraft, let's go ahead and log in. It says welcome to the server, developer B has joined the server. That's from our other plugin. But it actually worked. And as you can see, it says welcome to the server. And now let's try and change it in game. So if we type /set MOTD and to hi, your, and then and e not cool or something. And now as you can see, it translated our message from the and sign into the whatever value we put. So as you can see, it has green and then yellow. So let's go ahead and leave and then join back. And it says hi, you're not cool, as you can see, and then it says developer B has joined the server. But if we leave and we completely reload the server, we can reload it as many times as we want, and this config file is going to stay the same, and whenever we join, it's going to stay the same. So thank you guys for watching. That was a quick tutorial on how to save stuff over stopping the server and through a config file. There are other means of saving stuff, saving information over time, or not over time, over like a server reload or reset using databases, but that is going to be in a later tutorial. If you've heard about databases, they're pretty complicated. But yeah guys, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.